Are the participants restricted from sharing the screen? And if we have crossed 17 registrations, so we live on Facebook also, live on Facebook also. So let's start. I personally welcome to you all behalf of Manamov Engineer for the Pratham session. I'm Dipakshi, your co-host for the day. We will officially start this session in next 10 minutes. This is your time and time for you to introduce yourself, your business to us and to all fellow participants and to the audience who will watch the session globally on YouTube or Facebook. So I request to introduce yourself by typing your introduction in chat box in the following structure. Uh, Name @company @location, what does you, and what your company do. For example, I shared in chat box. I request to all, please introduce yourself by typing the introduction in chat box in the following structure. Uh, Thanks, Abhinav, for joining from Manamov Engineer. He is located in Noida, and new. Uh, we are new generation of project manager. And second is Priyanka from Ahmedabad. welcome Ruth for joining this from Mahadik College of Engineer at Direct Sangli Education Institute. Welcome, She. Welcome.
We have started
Ankush
this
Sharma.
section. We have started this section just for you for the first time in the program. So please help me, Priyanka. Help me, Dipakshi, in this session. We have Sashi Vivij from ASB Realtors. They are a construction company with special references to green buildings. We have Ankur from Manomov, who is from Tamil Nadu. He's a project manager. We have Vanshi Raj Bahel from Bhumija. He's in Delhi NCR. He says we are into turnkey design and build, redefine your innings of life. We have Shomaila Arju from Akbar International, that is from Agra. She's an operations manager. She says she's into manufacturers of luxury marble home decor and stone construction. We have Raj Soni from Raj Soni and Company Factory. They are engineering consultants. We have Anil Verma from Alliance Marketo. He says, I'm a Wipro and Honeywell distributor. We deal in LED lighting, electrical, electronics, air filtration system, building management system, CCTV camera, and fire alarm system. We have Gopal from Sri Rathi Group, Ghaziabad, Bhiwadi. He says he belongs to, his company deals into the manufacturing of TMT bar, produced and sold over 2.5 million TMT bars in last 15 years. We have Nishant Dakkad from Recliners India. We have Abhishek from Flavel, based in Palwal. He says we build hydro turbines and projects management of hydro projects. We have Achal from CE Comfort Engineers based in Delhi. They says we are an MEP contracting company undertaking project design, management, procurement, and execution. Welcome everyone. Thank you very much. We have Gauri Seth from Comfort Engineers based in Delhi. We have Sanjay Chabra from Construction Expert based on Delhi. His mission is to help architects, construction companies, civil engineers, and students. So we have all variety of people joining us from different parts of India. And now let me give the stage back to Dipakshi to take it forward from here. Over to you, Dipakshi.
Thank you so much, sir, for helping. Now we are officially beginning this session. A very good evening to all of you. This is Dipakshi from Manomov Engineer. Today we are gathered here for the 25th Pratham meeting to learn about everything you have ever want to know about Factory of Future. For this 25th meeting, Mr. Abhinav Bhardwaj is moderator. So typically I introduce the moderator who further carry the session with speaker for the day. However, Abhinav introduced himself in a innovative way, which we love to hear from him. A few things which Abhinav was not shared included that he has attained DTM status in Toastmaster International. He is a proficient speaker of various firms, including Indian Railways, IIT Delhi, Kite Like Institute. Let's hear directly from him. Over to you, Mr. Abhinav.
Thank you very much, Dipakshi. I think I'm audible. Actually, thank you, Dipakshi, for giving me the opportunity to introduce myself. So guys, feel free to show your love in the chat box or virtual reaction if you love my introduction, or if I'm able to get some of your attention, because I have prepared this introduction especially for you with lots of love. So here it goes. I'm Abhinav Bhardwaj, son of a homemaker and a professor, father of a cute student, husband of a super supportive wife, tech guy from a tier 3 city, that is Saharanpur. From there grown as a civil engineer from IIT Delhi. From there grown as a PMP building in New Zealand, Oman, and India. From there grown as a co-founder of Manomov Engineers. And we are helping architects, contractors, consultants, business owners to build the buildings and factories beautifully. Guys, let me see the chat box or the reactions. If you love this introduction, yes, there is some love in the chat box. I believe few more. Great. Thank you, Sanjay ji. Thank you very much. So I'll try to maintain this energy throughout this session, and this session is very special because the 25th session, a kind of a 25th is one of the beautiful number which we have, which is related to silver jubilees. That's what we are having in the Pratham right now. So if you are ready to start with this session, please type ready in the chat box. Please type ready in the chat box if you are ready to start this Pratham session. Thank you very much. Yes, few more ready, super ready, perfect. So let me share, there are a few people who are first time attending this Pratham session. So I would like to tell them that Pratham is organized by Manamov Engineers. Manamov Engineers is a construction project management and engineering consultancy company, which has worked in domain of project management with 75 plus customers like SDFC Education, Tata Motors, Gabriel, Mohinity, Signature Global, who has engaged more than 20 plus architects like Shift Studio, ADCPL, Skeleton, Achal Kataria, Arco, while working with 250 plus vendors like Schindler, ThyssenKrupp, and CNG. In the domain of engineering services like BBS, BIM, or QS, Manamov has worked with all the leading brands like L&T, AECOM, Shapoorji and Palanji, NKG Infrastructure, and Tata Projects. In nutshell, Manamov Engineers has constructed more than 10,000 crore rupees worth construction while generating employment for more than 200 plus engineers in last 9 years of its operations. If you are constructing or planning to construct anything, you can connect with us by arranging a callback from the link given in the description of the Pratham WhatsApp guest community. So there is a community for the guests of Pratham. You can join that, and from there you will get an opportunity to connect with us. From there you can connect with it. So if you want to know about Pratham session, what is Pratham and how it is organized, type Pratham in the chat box. Type Pratham in the chat box, PRATHAM. And there's a link, I think, is floated for the guest group. You can join it as well. Type Pratham in the chat box. Yes, Pratham. We should be the first person, the Pratham, we call it in Hindi. We should be the first person to learn. अगर हमने अपने आप को प्रथम रखा हुआ है सीखने में, तो हम सच में बहुत अच्छी चीजें करते चले जाएंगे. So that is the intent of doing the Pratham. So in Pratham, we have an expert. Thank you very much, Priyanka. Thank you very much, Ravikant, for the response. Ankur, Sanjay ji, please make it much more interactive. I am just setting up the tune of the session. Once our speaker will take it from there, please try to interact as much as possible. So in Pratham, we invite an expert from the industry who shares his knowledge and skills with the community. It is one of the unique platforms where we have collaborated with more than 1,000 plus participants with 24 plus speakers. Pratham has a WhatsApp group for all the attendees to provide them support to join upcoming Pratham meetings, to enable you to network with different people in every meeting. It is a spam-free group, and you all are requested to join it. Link is there already in the chat box. If it has gone up, I request a host to please float it again. It will also enable you to connect Manamov in case you or your near ones are constructing any building. It will enable you to connect with our current speakers or the past speakers. We will float the link about it after the session in this same WhatsApp group which you are joining right now. And it will be always there in the description. So Pratham, this particular Pratham meeting will have 3 sections. The first section is an introduction section in which we are right now. You are आपको पता चल रहा है मनोमो के बारे में, प्रथम के बारे में, हमारे गेस्ट के बारे में मैं आपको भी बताने वाला हूँ और प्रथम कैसे चलती है इस बारे में होता है. Then we will have the guest section, speaker section, guest speaking section with the question and answers. So in which you can ask the questions about the session. And the last is the networking session in which you all will get an opportunity to interact with 3-4 members one-to-one in the last of this session. So in every Pratham meeting, you will have something to connect with the people, to learn, to network, and eventually to grow from where you are. Each seat in Pratham could have cost more than thousands. However, with support of Manamov community and speakers, we are able to bring these benefits to you in a very easy manner. So let's set some ground rules. First, please remain on mute. We have seen some disturbances from the past, and if it comes, please do not mind, because that's the thing which is happening in online environment. Please save on bandwidth by switching off your videos. If you have some questions, type in the chat box or raise hand. There's a slot for question and answer, but if you feel your question is very important, our speaker wants you to ask it there, and you can ask, you can connect us by saying unmute yourself if you are not able to getting unmute. please show thumbs up. Please show thumbs up right now or whenever you love the session, because it will maintain the energy and also it will help you to keep your focus in this particular session. One of the suggestions from the guests as well, that we should highlight that you should keep a pen and paper with yourself, because a lot of important points are coming in these technical sessions. And we will formally close this session by the end. And what will happen in the eventually in the end, we will have the networking sessions. From there, we will close this session formally. So let's begin Pratham 25th session. Please type S in the Zoom chat box in the comment section. To start this session with our guest, please type S in the chat box. Type S in the chat box. S, yes, S for start. S for start. Please type S in the chat box. Thank you very much, Anilji, Rajji, Shomaila, Ravikant, Shashiji, Nishant, Ankur. I am just handing over stage to my speaker, so trying to communicate with you as much as I can. Thank you very much for typing S, for being with me. So guys, can we make sure that we have spotlighted our speaker? Right. Thank you. So it is a time to move on to the second section of guest speaking, which will take approximate 1 hour in Pratham 25. We will learn about everything. We will learn about everything you have ever wanted to know about Factory of Future with architect Gaurav Varmani. And if it is not answered, there is a question and answer session in the end. So guys, architect Gaurav Varmani is a renowned name in the field of architecture and project management with vast experience gained from skilled working in the field of innovative design solutions, feasibility studies, project planning and management, audits in industrial logistics and infrastructure domain, a visionary and a founder of Studio Line Design. Gaurav established his firm in the year 1998. In 1998, after completing his education in BR from Sushant School of Art and Architecture, Gurgaon in 1995. May I request host to please help me to mute if there are someone who has unmuted. Right. So after completing his education in BR from Sushant School of Art and Architecture, Gurgaon in 1995, his expertise has been recognized and acknowledged well. As an expert in industrial and institutional architecture, he started his journey by winning a scholarship of GATE. Afterwards, he conferred and won the Industrial IAD Award 2009, Rajiv Gandhi Excellence Award 2013, CNBC Best Warehouse Design Global Logistic Excellence Award 2019, and CW India Best Industrial Architectural Design of the Year 2020. He is the author of book entitled Why Industrialists Fail to Build Their Dreams. With his varied experience in architecture and deep passion to share his knowledge and experience, he has undertaken faculty assignments with reputed schools of architecture of the country. It has also earned him jury positions at various architectural institutions all over India. Apart from being a founding member of Sushant School of Architecture Alumni and Vice President of Navy Children's School Alumni Association, he has also enjoyed the membership of IIA and IGBC. He has been appointed as an honorary member of ASSOCHAM, National Council of Green Eco-Friendly Movement, and is the chairman of the Committee of Warehouse Rating Program as well. So he has also enjoyed he has been appointed as an honorary member of ASSOCHAM, National Council for Green Eco-Friendly Movement, and is the chairman of the Committee of Warehouse Rating Program as well. His firm Studio Line Design gains its reputation by going an extra mile in making their project truly responding to the context and consciously designing them to address the larger goals of sustainable, responsible architecture. Their mission is to help their clients to grow faster with their expertise. Wow. Please give a huge round of virtual appreciation for all the achievements and for our speaker. You can just write clap in the chat box, or you can just show a virtual reaction which is there in the chat box. We have architect Gaurav on the screen. Gaurav, welcome to this Pratham 25th session.
Thank you, Abhinav. Thank you so much Thank you for the wonderful introduction, and I am happy and privileged to be part of this 25th session of Pratham. You've come a long way in this journey, and I wish it carries on and on with many more sessions, many more professionals coming on this platform and sharing their knowledge.
Gaurav,
Great initiative which you have taken.
thank you very much, Gaurav. So before we start, generally we ask our speakers, do you need any help if you will launch a poll or something to help, like what kind of audience is sitting right in front of you?
Yeah, definitely, Abhinav. I would love to.
So can someone help in launching the poll?
Yeah, please. That will be a great help.
Please, if you want to make, please launch a poll. Right. So please respond to this question, which is there in front of your screen. What profession do you belong? Because it will help the speaker to customize the session as per your requirement. We have seen it has a major impact in the delivery. That's why we ask this question every time. Please respond if you want this session to make much more sense to you. We have already received 43% response. Thank you everyone for participating so actively in the session. That's what it will make. It will help our speaker to enable the session for you. So you will eventually get the benefit out of it. Please participate more. It is hardly, I think, one button click is there, one button, and then you have to post the result. And then we will hear directly from Gauravji. Please, I think. Yes, so results are in front of you. So Gaurav, you can see that there are consultants, business owners, and construction professionals, and the stage is all yours.
So we have a very interesting mix today. We have consultants, business owners, very interesting, and construction professionals, all in a very competitive mix. Great. So it will be a nice session. Thank you. We just.
Gaurav, you can share your screen and stage is all yours.
Yeah, I'll just do that. Great. So, good evening, everybody. Good evening, my friends from the fraternity, industrialists, business owners, construction professionals. I think we have a few students also here, so it's great to have students interested in looking at a topic like this. So this has been my passion. Over the last few years, we have been doing factories for last 20-25 years, but somehow recently we just started focusing more on this segment, and we are well established in the area. We do a lot of factories across the country. So today, let's have a nice, interesting session. Anybody having any doubts, any thoughts, any queries, we would prefer to have it at the end of the session, as Abhinav just shared, but midway also you can just interrupt, and I'll be most happy to talk it there itself. Great. So as we go on this topic, Factory of Future. So Factory of Future, I would say that the future of the factory is now, as we are in the middle of the 21st century, really, and having gone through this challenge of pandemic, so there will be different perspectives which are going to come in ahead, and we would say that the key parameter which will define the factories for the future will be smart and sustainable factories. We will have to make them smart, we will have to make them sustainable. So let me just introduce myself as well. So I am Gaurav Barbani. Abhinav just introduced you, and we run the established practice out of South Delhi, or NCR region, and there's a book which has just been published, which I wrote, which is why industrialists fail to build their dreams. So this was something which was a pressing question as we work with a lot of multinational clients, a lot of small clients, small business owners. So there were various aspects which were not really getting addressed, and I really felt the need to come in and put this in black and white. And I was fortunate enough with all the support of all my team members, my family, everybody, that we could go ahead and publish this book. So I'll ask Dipakshi to just share the link as well for the book. So let's move on. This is a team which we have in our office, and we have a team of 20-25 people working in the architecture and engineering domain, and we are well supported. I'm fortunate to have such a beautiful team. So as we talk of industries today, what exactly comes to everybody's mind is that manufacturing industry is, can you just figure out the ecosystem which we are talking of, and as we go forward. So there is going to be predictive machine analysis, IoTs working in, robots coming in, computers doing all the work, very minimal of human interventions. Even the trucks will be unmanned. There'll be very few. The whole ecosystem is going to change. Today, as we are going ahead, we talk of a terminology which is very predominantly being used in the industrial domain. That is the fourth industrial revolution, which is actually talking and emphasizing about making the whole process of manufacturing as smart manufacturing. And that is very important, and that is going to get integrated with our built environments for the industries. We are already, people are talking of the fifth industrial revolution coming in, where the whole ecosystem is going to change. The factories will not be very big, I would say. It will be just-in-time systems. The whole environment is going to change, and the future of factories will be more of integration of the smart systems to manufacturing. Now, when we talk of smart systems, we should not forget the sustainable aspects, because as Industry 4.0 has come in, and all industrialists in the system are talking of Industry 4.0, somewhere we are not addressing the sustainable aspects, which I feel, and my firm also strongly believes, that that is going to be the base platform for any system to thrive and go ahead. So you need to create an ecosystem where sustainability and smart will coexist. We will have to look at those kind of opportunities, those kind of situations. So we'll talk of few projects which we have done recently, and so when we talk of smart manufacturing is actually a technology-driven approach that actually utilizes the internet-connected machinery to monitor each and every production process. And the goal of smart manufacturing is to identify opportunities. It has to understand and identify the opportunities for automating each and every operation. The disconnect probably. Just give me a second, please. That's been a small connectivity issue. So the ecosystem is going to change. It is going to be smart manufacturing. Yes. I'm really sorry. Just give me a second.
Let's hold on for a few minutes. I think Gauravji is having some difficulty technical difficulty due to connectivity, which is more due to connectivity. Thank you very much, Anilji. So he's back into the room.
I'm really sorry. Really sorry for the glitch. So as we were talking about smart manufacturing, so the whole emphasis of the industry today is towards manufacturing in a technology-driven approach that utilizes the internet-connected machinery to monitor the production processes. The whole emphasis is switching towards the manufacturing processes to automate even the smallest of things, to get with so much of data analytics and so much of data science available. So the whole system is going there. But as architects, as construction professionals, as crusaders of green environment today, and as conscious citizens, I would say, our whole purpose has to be towards a sustainable development. So a sustainable development is the development which actually meets the needs of the present, and it does not compromise the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So that this is a very simple definition, that we just restrict ourselves to the present and do not compromise the abilities for the future generations. Sustainable manufacturing also goes in sync with it. It's the creation of manufactured products through eco-friendly processes that will minimize the negative impacts on the environmental systems. So, as it's well known and well understood that the construction industry per se is the biggest contributor to the whole ecosystem, where it does not really go well with the sustainable manufacturing thoughts, processes, and it is the biggest consumer of energy. So we need to think each and every step as we go in the construction segment to minimize our impact, to do a very selective decision making and reduce those whole processes. So it will be two-stage process, I would say, that when we are building the ecosystem and when we are operating the ecosystem. It will be a combined thing. Both have to coexist, and we will have to look at solutions where we can create better, efficient factories out of this whole scenario, which is very rapidly changing. So when we talk of a sustainable manufacturing place, we have got to address our sustainable goals. We have to look at climate factors. We have to look at reducing and controlling our whole systems. We have to look at lean manufacturing, depending on the natural resources to the maximum. Natural lighting, climate factors have to be taken into account. The whole geography of the system, remaining very conscious and present to the context and the real challenges which we face today. So we use a lot of steel, as I would recommend you also. Use a lot of PEV, use a lot of steel, because that is a really sustainable product. And steel has a very interesting life cycle, that from the cradle to the grave and beyond also, it can always be continuously used. So it can be recycled, it can change forms, it can again come back to the system. So it is not a product like concrete where we are actually going to spoil our environment. And cement today is the biggest culprit. Believe me or not, a lot of people don't really appreciate that. But cement today is the biggest contributor for our challenges which we are facing in sustainability across the country, across the world, across the globe. And do depend on natural light panels. Design your natural light panels so that your dependency on the artificial light is minimized. Have another very interesting trend which I am seeing going ahead is the use of a lot of glass in the factories. It might sound very different, but very okay. I just address it here itself, Shomala. The cement can be very clearly changed by using very special kind of cements which are available today. So they are actually you need to do sequestering of the carbon systems. You need to look at systems and products where the carbon can be retained, removed. Look at recycled plastics. Look at recycled aluminium. Blocks with geopolymers are coming in. Use of geopolymer is being used, derived from natural clay. We are using crushed basalts. We are using matured bamboo beams. Bamboo is a new technology and a new system which has been very well recognized today. So cement formulations made from blast furnace slag. So we need to just be very conscious of what all materials we use, how we start doing things, how we start addressing things, and everything is going to contribute. Your selection of material, your selection of technology. We have to look at systems which will be net zero. So sustainable manufacturing will be achieved by incorporating green technologies as well. And green technology innovators will have to use the latest environmental sciences and the green chemistry to reduce the harmful effects of impacts of the human activity on the earth. So we need to have eco-friendly system. We need to do plant-based materials. We are getting a lot of traction in that area. New products are being developed across the globe. Reduction in the pollution substances, reducing of the green gas emissions. Dependency has to increase drastically on the renewable energy solutions. So we'll use a lot of wind energy, we use a lot of solar energy. The whole focus of construction industry is going to shift onto the energy sector, I would say. The energy sector will be the biggest solution provider to us also in these challenges, and that will lead the way forward. The systems will have to be multifunctional so that impact on the manufacturing is also reduced. Again, I'll be talking of sustainable factories. This is very close to us. And when we start a project, we always define our green goals for the project. And those become like non-negotiable green goals. Yeah. Again, what is the cost of, just missed your query. What is the cost of renewable energy? Okay. So renewable energy, if we say like a solar system when we install, I would say it gives you a very tangible ROI within 4 to 5 years of your putting up the system, and it can last up to 25 years for sure. There are various good innovations being made, panels being readjusted, recalibrated to demands of the industry, and they are providing day by day a very innovative solution so that solar becomes very cost effective, very economically viable. And as we have evolved towards net metering and both the models being available, that is the OPEX model, the CAPEX model. So solar is going to be the key driver ahead, and definitely I would recommend that any factory owner, any business owner coming up with any facility should definitely do whatever they can do on solar installations. Definitely do that. So sustainability will drive the future, better production will come in, and sustainability has to be looked at in a very bigger and a larger perspective, wherein I would say that you have to look sustainability as part of your life, as part of your living. It cannot be a separate subject which has to be dealt with. So you have government incentives which will have to be promoted out, and our Prime Minister has already committed and assured that anything and everything to promote this ecosystem for manufacturing, and with all the new companies and Make in India initiatives taking shape very quickly. All these ecosystems for the infrastructure are being well supported by our government as well. So you save a lot of energy, you save a lot of cost. Sorry. And we just definitely talked of the smart factories, and these are the ecosystems where everybody has to now address. We cannot be away from it. It's a digital technology which has to get integrated into the systems. And as architects, as conscious, responsible people, we will get into this revolutionary system. The whole system will change. The internet has already taken over all our lives, and there's machine learning, there's so much of data. So we need to just understand what kind of data is important to us, what kind of data will help us move ahead in a very positive direction, in a very logical direction. So as architects, as consultants, we have the abilities, and I'm sure the people in the room would definitely agree with me on this, that we have all the ability and the responsibility to provide solutions which will minimize these impacts on the climate and the structures which we are designing. So it could be any structure, it could be industries, it could be logistics, it could be institutional. So just do the right materials. Let me just, so as I had promised you also, that the 5 keys to a smart and sustainable factory, as we put it. Let's just put something here. So the most important parameter which I identify is the choice of materials. So always remember, whenever we are doing a project, we need to understand the life cycle of the project, from where it is going to get manufactured, how it is going to be shipped to the ground, how it is going to be reused, how it is going to be recycled at the end of the life cycle, and beyond as well. Actually, we need to address the ecosystem right even when it is being recycled. So anywhere where it is not connecting up, I think it will create a problem for environment. It will not be accepted. Like today, I'll give you a very small example. We are talking of an electric vehicle system, and all dependency on the electric batteries being coming in. But can we just understand and become present to the fact that what will happen to all these batteries which will get accumulated after 10 years? This will be a very big challenge which we will be facing ahead. So we need to address all these aspects when we are doing any project and any new innovations which are coming in. This is a very important parameter, that to make any environment sustainable, you need to look at the indoor environment and the air quality which are being created, the environment for the workers, environment for the business owners. So if we will be able to create a nice environment, we will definitely have better production, better outcomes. And so this aspect has really helped us in our projects as well, drastically over the years, that wherever we have been able to create, and which we have successfully created, I think over 80% of our projects for sure, that the environment has been so well lit, well ventilated, that workers have felt comfortable. The end users have really appreciated our works also, and this has been the key game changer in the whole system to make a factory very user friendly. So choice of technology, what you will build beyond the material, what all technologies you are going to use, how you are going to use it, what will really help you out, how you can build faster, because today there are three key parameters which we are looking at in a factory. You build on within the given cost, you build it within the given time, and you build it at the desired quality. So if you are able to address all three, which I think technology helps you a lot, there are latest machineries available, latest equipment which are being available. We'll have to look at prefab technology coming in a big way. Prefab foundations, prefab buildings are already there. We are looking at a lot of use of LGFS materials like light gauge steel. If a lot of people may not have used it now, but I think over the next 5-7 years, we'll be able to see a lot of use of LGFS materials as well. We just talked of maximizing on the use of renewable energy. So whatever you build, just be conscious that you have to address these aspects of solar and ventilation in your industries, and I can assure you there will be no glitches, and you will be the most happy business owner or consultant or professional when you are through with the project. Protect and conserve water. So if you are just able to highlight and focus on these 4-5 aspects, I am very sure you will be able to multiply and create a very nice ecosystem and a built environment for your clients as well. This is a very important point which a lot of people miss out, and that is that always be present and responsive to the context and its relevance. So where you are building, in what geography you are building, what climate conditions you are building, what socio-cultural situations you are building, just understand that, just understand the needs of the customer, and then when we produce something and be present to the context, it will create some nice projects and some nice ecosystems which you will be able to happily contribute. So needs for a conscious design. The issues are that if you do not build well, if you do not build with intimacy, if you do not build with passion, then you create sick building syndromes. So we need to be creating environments where we can lift up the mood and the productivity of our clients and the people working there, and create a very congenial environment. So we have seen this successfully in our factories. I'll just run you through a couple of our projects as well, going the way ahead, and you can yourself experience how the I'll just address your question. So with temperatures reaching 40 degrees constantly. So yes, definitely we are looking at aspects. So just to address the air quality and the environment aspects. So I would say temperature not only reach 40, they reach even 50 degrees and plus in some situations. And we have, let me just come back to this question when we take up one of our projects. I think that will get well demonstrated there. So as a community, we need to understand that we are not only building a built environment, we are creating the space for creating a nice psychological response and breaking So a built environment plays a much larger role here. And as times will change, it will all be very focused and centric towards the upliftment of the well-being of your associates who are working there. So you have to select colors. We have seen that with colors also, the outcomes have been really mind-boggling and very nicely. The whole spaces have come out where just by the use of very interesting colors, we have been able to create environments where the workers were really giving their more than 100% outcome. So I'll just now take you through few of our projects. So as Studio Light Design, we always create project-specific green goals, as I just mentioned at the conceptualization stage itself, when we interact with our clients. And while working on these projects, the endeavor has always been to practice and create a sustainable architecture that remains sensitive to its surroundings and user experiences. So you can see a lot of greenery. So this is a very nice amalgamation which we created, which is permanent material finishes combined with a lot of glass, combined with a lot of greenery and the built environment. So we keep our projects very low key, I would say that way. That they are not ostentatious, and we are not trying to create very loud environments. And the whole space just gels in. So this is one of our very recent projects which we completed in Ludhiana. The first phase, this is a 100-acre greenfield development for Hero eCycle. This is a dream project for Mr. Munjal, and this is the first development which has happened in that zone. And we were fortunate that we could complete it within a span of 15 months between the pandemic. In between the pandemic, and this is a fully functional facility today. So this is majorly oriented towards export markets, and they'll be manufacturing 10 million cycles from here. They already started manufacturing that, and the whole valley, they call it the Hero Valley, and that is coming up in a very nice way. Should develop into a nice built environment over the next 5 years. You see, this is the inside space. So this is all very well lit during the day as well. This was just a picture which was captured in the evening. And this is the first phase which we have completed is around around 4 lakh square feet plus. So there's a whole system where we have got 50 acres, which is housing the Hero factory, and then there will be an ecosystem where there will be suppliers also housed in the same setup, and they will all keep growing and supplying to this setup. See this is now completed and functional. So what all key parameters we use to create this system, that we used a very special kind of pre-coated galvanum sheets with which were joint free, which were doing a standing seam system in the roof. We introduced there was a query that how do we address the issues of insulation. So we used bubble wrap insulation, which would reduce temperatures in the peak summer by around 7 to 8 degrees, and beyond that also. We have been able to achieve 50% energy savings in terms of lighting design from the baseline parameters being set by the Green Building Council. So this building is actually designed as a level to achieve platinum IGBC green certification. So the certification is now in process, but we have already registered the project, and we hope to get a platinum rating for this project of ours. So there are solar panels which are being installed. This was a picture which was taken a bit earlier, but definitely it's part of the system, and we have now installed those panels as well. So that is also giving us a tremendous energy saving in the whole energy environment of the system. So as I said, the whole focus tomorrow as we move ahead will be on the energy aspects of the projects. The built environments, we have already standardized a lot. We have come to very mature levels of materials in terms of finishes, in terms of selection of products. So now we are actually focusing on the energy ecosystems, and that will drive the way forward. So we retained our topography, so we remained very true to the whole space. The project was executed very well, and it's a very functional design. We have 3 buildings which are separated out because of minimizing the risk and general safety parameters associated with the industrial built environment. So we separated the paint shop from the weld shop and the assembly lines and the finished goods and raw material systems. So it's a very smooth flowing flow. So the product enters from one place, goes to the next shop, goes to the second shop, gets painted, comes to the assembly line through automated conveyors, and then it's stored in state-of-the-art racking systems, and then it gets dispatched ahead. So this is another very interesting project which came up in the last couple of years. This we did with Minda Group in Pune. So this was a 20-acre site, not a very big site, I would say, but a very challenging environment, and we had a natural topography to maintain. So as you see that the road was higher and the factory was built at a much lower terrain, and we had to address the issues of rainwater harvesting, and again successfully we have been able to achieve a platinum rating for this project as well. So once we are committed to doing a project in a sustainable environment, we start that whole exercise from day 0, so that we address it. Let it be the selection of material, the selection of technologies to be used, the selection of material suppliers, the selection of glass, even the smallest of selection everywhere and each and every point, wherever we select any area of our project, we do question that whether it fits into our whole system, whether it addresses the broader goals which we have set for ourselves from the factory, from the project, what kind of energy systems are we going to put in, and energy monitoring is a very important key aspect in the whole system. So we monitor each and every aspect. This is to be able to see there's a whole lot of natural light here. So in the factory, we have a lot of roof light, we have a lot of natural light coming in from the sides as well. So that gives us a comfort environment where we do not have to depend at all on the artificial light throughout the day. We orient our systems accordingly, and this whole roof profile is actually designed in a manner that there are huge furnaces running here, and I would say temperatures in peak summer, though it is Pune, we have measured and we have recorded temperatures even in Pune conditions to be around 47, 48 degrees with the furnaces running. And the location of the natural vents in the system, in the roof, is actually placed in such a manner that whatever fumes are being made out, whatever fumes are being emanated from the machines, they immediately get exhausted out from the natural vent system. So this has very less dependency on the mechanical aspects and the mechanical ventilation systems. The whole unit by itself is designed so nice because this is something which was very unheard of. Even across Asia, we have got very good reviews from people who are actual users of these kind of products, because here we manufacture alloy wheels. And if somebody is aware of the system of manufacturing of alloy wheels, it's a very dirty process. And there's a lot of fumes there. The environment is really hot. The environment is not very conducive, and we were able to do a controlled, closed environment here and I'll just show you some pictures of the inner space. So this is the aerial view which we had created. So there's some scope left for future expansion. So the entry point is somewhere here. This is the entry point, which is the highest level, and then there's a road which has been developed, which goes really down. And this level at which the factory is built is around 5 meters below the external road. So this was a big challenge for us to address. So how to manage the contours in this kind of environment, and how to handle the whole construction methodology and minimizing on the cost of the construction as well. That and it has been well appreciated across industry partners of Minda, who are Japanese as well, that they have not really seen such neat environments in the aluminium die casting plant in the whole of Southeast Asia, and multiple units which they have created for their own manufacturing setup. So this again has a separate paint shop and a finished goods store, just to cut down on the risk which might be involved with any of the chemicals and the products being used. So as a architect and as a designer to these facilities, we are very conscious of what all safety measures we need to take, or how we need to place what all utilities, where will the HSDB, what products can come together, what need to be segregated out. So we get into all the nuances of the product and the processes, and then design our setups. This is again what we could achieve on the sustainability front of this project. So this is again a zero liquid discharge plant with extensive rainwater harvesting in multiple locations. So this was like designed with 20 plus rainwater harvesting pits, and 100% of the water which is generated as wastewater, both grey and black, is being used in a recycling process throughout the unit. And it was a very harsh landscape, but what eventually came out, as you see, is a very green space which we have been able to create, and we are all maintaining it through recycling processes. So there's extensive savings on the lighting front, electrical fronts. Solar panels are again installed now, and they contribute drastically to the reduction in the energy consumption of the unit. So high SRI materials wherever we could. We were even conscious of ordering the steel within the radius of 500 kilometers, which is a very important parameter for a green building certification aspect, as well as our own decisions to create these kind of environments. We use eco-friendly refrigerants, which are now the way to go. We have moved on to LNG technology, gas systems for our production facility. So the whole unit is run on LNG gas, and the waste management is a very important aspect which we cater in all our projects. So waste management is very thoroughly monitored, and we ensure that it is clearly complied with in all our projects. So this is the basic planning. There's a few other photographs. So we do a very extensive working, and mind you, Minda is a very conscious client as far as Vastu is concerned. So all the general topographies had to be accordingly worked around. You can see the space inside. So this is during the day, and there's very less of artificial light that is only on the assembly lines, but otherwise it's a very, very well lit environment. Wall sheeting. We are moving towards, as we evolve and learn, we innovate with new materials, we innovate with new technologies, we use a lot of BIM modeling in our projects, which gives us a very clear understanding that where all the clashes might happen, where all the MBPs have to be run. So because it has to be designed in a very cohesive manner, so that all the processes are very well organized and we don't face any challenges when we actually get into the manufacturing environment. Here you can see from inside there's practically no light which is there, and the whole space feels so nice about it that even a worker of any level would really love to work in these facilities. And this was like, I had shared this photograph some time back with somebody and he said that it looks like something somewhere in Germany or very in a European environment. So this is again in between the pandemic we were able to achieve it. We got very good credit ratings for this project as well. These are a few of our other projects which we have been doing over the last few years. We've worked with the Star Syringes, Skypack, TCI. We are into the logistics segment. Some airport projects which we recently completed. We are coming up with a warehouse project. We did some institutional projects for the New Delhi railway station and then R&D sector coming in. So each of our projects is very consciously designed to the context, and we select our materials, select the technologies in a very conscious manner to address these requirements. Thank you so much for listening to me, and how we can move towards the question answers of this.
So if there are any questions, please feel free to write in the chat box. And can we give a huge round of applause to Architect Gaurav for this wonderful session? You can show your virtual reaction or as type in the chat box, clap for the wonderful insights which he has brought in terms of smart manufacturing, sustainable manufacturing. Yes, so there is a question from Mr. Manoj Bansal. How much time it takes to build such a factory, right? So before we move on to question, let's give us a time to acknowledge the appreciation for the session, the value which you have added in life of everyone. Guys, please write thanks in the chat box. We have spent almost an hour with our guest speaker. Type thanks in the chat box. Thanks in the chat box. We have learned, even though if we are construction professional, we have learned the insights, the way other person develops or build the project. Please write thanks in the chat box. Yes.
It was my pleasure to be able to share what we could. Hope we have been able to add some value and some insights.
Yes. You can see the chat box, there are a lot of thanks are there. We all have a high gratitude for you, Gauravji, for adding this value. Let's move on to the question and answer session.
Definitely.
So it is, there was one question, which is like how much time it takes to build such a factory?
Okay, so typically I would say that any steel building factory could easily come up in 7 to 8 months, starting I would say 1 lakh to 2 lakh square feet minimum. We are able to build in 7 to 8 months, and beyond that also, if the whole planning and if we have project managers like Abhinav supporting the project, I am very sure these projects can easily be delivered with all the MEPs and utilities in a time span of 10 months to be from start to commissioning of the project. So there are trial runs to be done, there are production to start off, SOPs to be maintained there. So in a typical ecosystem, I would say 10 months is a reasonable time frame to come up with steel PEB buildings. So that is the beauty of steel, that you are able to deliver such projects where you would have typically taken 2 years easily doing a building there. So you can always take up and deliver these kind of projects in 10 months, I would say. So we have detailed it out. I think 6 to 7 months is typical time for a warehouse project, logistics project. And with utilities, you can do it very well in 10 months. Because the planning has to be very diligently done from day zero. So we typically recommend to spend at least 2 months of period in the pre-construction time, where you do all your ordering and planning and negotiations, and then when you hit the ground, then you can do it in the time which I am just suggesting to you.
Planning is playing really important, and people are now realizing that it is not planning, it is the implementation of planning which plays a major role. So there is one more question from Shomaila, which is like, do we have the technological capabilities in India to make the software for the smart factories, or do we use the existing softwares from international companies?
So the technology is moving fast, yes, and these softwares are very easily available also. So it is an integration of the whole thing. It's, as Abhinav also said, it's more of planning also to be integrated into the whole system. And when you map out each and every activity of the project, then I am very sure that you can integrate everything into the system. And for smart factories, we have, I would say, for sustainable factories, we have very good softwares available in-house with all the companies, and there are new developers also adding new technologies every day. And we can actually measure, we can actually simulate, we can actually understand how the building is going to behave in what environment, what climate, what temperatures. And you can actually get a very realistic picture of what is going to come in. Even the AIs and the BIM technologies are being very well integrated into our system, where you can really identify to the last minute detail. You can actually walk through that project. You can have your oculars and you can understand the detail. You can actually move through the project. So that I had shared in one of my earlier sessions also, that this is the kind of technology where you can actually see how the wall is going to move, how the we are doing a very interesting project with Johnson Matthey itself in Bawal. So there we have done a lot of detail engineering. We are not allowed at this moment to share the details. Otherwise, I would have brought it on this platform somewhere in future. We will definitely share that project as well once it gets commissioned. So there we have been able to integrate a lot of processes, and you can even see the hydraulics moving, even see how much of energy is going to get consumed, even for the construction aspect and for the operations as well.
I think this question extends to this point, like, what about smart hardwares? Do we have those machines available here in the India? Right?
Yeah, for smart hardware, again, definitely there is a lot of integration. And for the building parameters, yes, I'm very sure. The manufacturing parameters already have been brought in by a lot of multinational companies here. And now with construction and now with the manufacturing moving in a big way in times to come, with the Make in India initiatives and the China and COVID not being really supportive of these situations. So there's a lot of traction which is coming up in India on the construction aspect of industries. And a lot of our engineering pioneers are actually doing these devices and monitoring systems and data systems, which are giving very good, accurate parameters for us to move ahead in this direction.
Very apt answer, Gauravji. There is, I am asking Rajesh Budhirajaji to please unmute himself. He has some good words for you, that you have been doing great green buildings, would like to engage with you corporate.
Yeah, hi Gaurav.
Good evening, Rajesh ji. Good evening.
Always love to see you and hear you. We of course haven't met for a while.
Yes,
Yes,
my pleasure, Rajesh ji.
I do want to come and see you. I had just two things.
Yes.
One is a lot of your buildings I've seen, which you've done for Minda and the other companies. I want to somehow start seeing natural ventilation being used in these. Now, you know, I'm one of the
you are
one of the few stalwarts in India.
Mr. Budhiraja is a pioneer and stalwart in natural ventilation systems in the industrial segment for sure.
So I would love to sit with you on how to do that.
Most welcome.
And the second thing, of course, is smoke ventilation, which a lot of companies do not actually pay attention on, barring maybe Johnson Matthey as a company, in an MNC, they would be more focused on not the powered form of smoke ventilation, but the flap kind of smoke ventilation. The other thing is, I just wanted your thoughts on how to create a building which can earn wealth for the owner right from the stage when it is under creation.
Okay. Very interesting question. I would say that if the owner is conscious enough from day zero, and when we start designing these systems, each and every aspect, like selection of materials, selection of understanding of the parameters which will affect the energy. So as we talked during the session also, anything and everything going the way forward will be aimed towards energy. And energy will actually be your money earner tomorrow. So
Yes.
built environment will be one space which will give you lasting sustainability and comfort in that space. But whatever you do, wherever you are able to save the energy, that is actually your money earning.
Yeah.
So the whole focus is now moving towards that only.
Yeah.
And factories of the future will have to address that aspect.
Yeah. I want to add another element to this,
Please.
Gaurav. It's an intangible element. And I probably heard the first time. There was a client called Graziano, building a building in Sanat.
Okay.
And they had a contractor who was not treating his subcontractors well. So he was not paying them in time. He didn't have good toilet facilities, didn't have good, recreational facilities for the children. So this MD of the company, an Indian, he said, if this man who's putting a brick into my building, he does not have heart in the building, my building is not going to bring me good wealth. So he told that contractor, if you cannot handle it, I will handle all the facilities for all your people. I want happy people making my building, because that will bring in joy and wealth into my building. So that was probably the first time I ever heard in my career, the MD of a company actually focusing on that. So maybe when you interact with MDs, if you can add that as a element, because वो subcontractor के जो subcontractor होते हैं वो always थोड़े beaten down होते हैं, तो वो जबरदस्ती काम कर रहे होते हैं, तो मन नहीं होता उनका करने में. So that was a beautiful anecdote I heard. I was sitting in that session. CRN was the architect.
Great.
I just thought of sharing that thing.
Thank you for sharing this wonderful thought. I think Abhinav will also agree on this. We handle that situation.
And so there are a lot of questions which I can see in the chat box. I'm not sure whether we will get time to take up these questions, but if any of you would like to connect with Gauravji, please join the guest group which is there. In that group, we'll provide you the link through which you can connect with Gauravji for any of the project, or if you have any questions, we'll provide you that link. Please join the guest group which is there. It will keep you informed about the next sessions where you will get opportunity to learn from the next speakers. It will expose you if you are finding any difficulty in joining any of the session. It will also expose you in doing multiple networking events, because now we will move to the networking section in which you will meet few more people. And similarly, in the next meeting, you will get to chance to interact with 5 or 6 more people in that smaller group.
But Abhinav, I'll just request your team to share these questions with me, and I'll definitely try and address each one separately.
Perfect. So what I can do, I can read out all the questions which are there.
Just ask your team to share it with me, and maybe after the session I'll connect.
So Gauravji, I'll read out all the questions. You can give a closing remarks, and then we'll move on to the network. Right.
Okay.
So there is a question from Ankur. Try to see if we can cover most of the question. There is a question from Ankur which says like, sir, can we construct a house like this PEB? Will it be cost effective in future? Number 2.
Yes, Ankur, definitely. It is somehow India only, which is one of the countries which is not moving, and it has not moved so well into steel today. and I cannot see a future without steel in very near times to come. So with steel definitely, and LGFS as a technology, you will be able to build homes in steel, and they will be the way forward. I am very sure about it. And if you need some more insight, some more understanding on this, please feel free to connect with us, and we'll definitely help you out beyond industries as well, because LGFS integrated with steel will be the way forward.
And then there is a Vimlesh question which says, is there any use of 3D printing technology in construction of smart factories?
Vimleshji, we are exploring that opportunities, but frankly, with the multiple sizing and the exorbitant cost associated with 3D printing, we are not really able to implement it to that level, because we might be able to use those technologies for developing some modules as a trial situation, where the repetitive aspect has to come in the longer perspective, where there are multiple pieces to be fabricated and only one or two pieces are required in the initial stage. But for a mass construction situation, currently I am not very sure how we will be able to use 3D printing.
So there is a Mukesh ji saying, if the owner is cost conscious, I'd like to repeat, if the owner is cost conscious, is it possible to consider all these factors you mentioned today?
Mukeshji, well, every owner is cost conscious. Let it be any company, any owner, they are all very cost conscious. But at the same time, they do understand, if explained to them properly, that what are the benefits, and if you can clearly present to them the benefits and the ROIs which are associated with the initiatives which we propose or which can be taken up in times to come. Definitely, I think most of the owners do understand and appreciate and agree to go ahead with.
And then there is a question from Ravikant Kapil, that how much does approximate square feet cost to build such factories?
Okay. Ravikantji, it is very difficult to give a tangible cost to it, because there are multiple parameters which get into these aspects, like whether you have cranes, what kind of spans you are using, what kind of heights, what kind of finishes, material, technology, time, multiple aspects that go into a construction project. But I would say the typical projects which you just saw, for the built environment, only the building infrastructure without the major MEPs would cost you around 1,200 to 1,500 rupees a square feet. It's a very, very ballpark figure. So just don't go by this, but this is just a very broad benchmark which we can just.
Yes, cost varies as the requirements changes. So this is the last question, with which after which we'll move to the next section, which is from Mr. Amrut. He says, how temperature is controlled in future factory? So it is kind of open question for you. How the temperature?
It is very rightly, as Rajesh also put it, that we have to look at natural ventilation systems, and that will be the only sustainable way forward. We do have mechanical ventilation systems, we do have air washers, air cooling systems. We can definitely not look at air conditioning for all situations. India being a very energy limited country, and with all the challenges around, but definitely we can look at doing our factories in the best natural ventilation systems. So you design your draft of air where you get fresh air and you exhaust out the hot air in a very continuous manner, and you will get a very reasonably comfortable work environment for your associates and workers.
Thank you very much, Gauravji. Please give a huge round of applause for Gauravji for the wonderful session and the phenomenal question and answer session which we have afterwards.
My pleasure. This is always
thanks in the chat box. If you have loved today's session, thank you very much, Gauravji. Now let's allow me to take this session to the next phase. Can I, sir?
Please go ahead. Thank you. Thank you.
So guys, this is the time to move on to the third part of the Pratham session. And after this session, I would like to share some ground rules. Right. So can you add me? Right. So Dipakshi, please look into the comments which is there. I'm continuing with the rules. So guys, please type MEET in the chat box. MEET, MEET in the chat box if you are interested in the last section of the Pratham MEET. If you want to If you want to meet with the people who are there in the group, please type meet in the chat box. And in this session, I would like to share why. First, I will share why people are joining the Pratham sessions, right? So all the people, if they are architect and consultant, they are learning about how other architects or the consultants or the people in the industry are doing, how they are doing the construction. The owner of construction related businesses are using it as a monthly training program for their employees because it has a least investment. Now even the contractors are getting easy learning environment in which they are learning how to do the construction in a new way. All the attendees who are there are able to connect with current or past speakers for their business needs via Manamoh. So I think there's a group is there, link is there. Dipakshi, please float that link. If you will join that link, we will provide you in the description, you will find all the links which will be there through which you can connect the present speaker or the past speakers at your comfort whenever you want to connect with them. Even for the questions, we try to facilitate that communication. Dipakshi, can you please float that link in this group? And also, if you loved the sessions for the day, please try to refer it to few of the people. You have to just click onto the link in the description and you will be able to refer to the people. If you have got value, please try to refer to at least 3 people so that they also learn from this initiative. Dipakshi, can you float the link of the joining link of the Pratham guest group? And then please join this WhatsApp guest community. Now I will set out the ground rules for the networking session. In this networking session, you will be moved on into the smaller breakout rooms in which what we personally recommend you to introduce, if there are 5 members are there, everyone please introduce your name, your company and location and what do you do to all the members who are there. By this way, everyone will get one chance. After that, try to have an informal communication and exchange your contact numbers if you want. Exchange your contact numbers if you want, so that you can connect with them later. In the next Pratham meeting, you will get into another breakout room where you will meet another 5 wonderful people. And once you will make these breakout rooms, from there, these breakout rooms will close in 10 minutes. These breakout rooms will close in 10 minutes automatically. So after that, we'll close this session. And that is an end for the day. I hope you have loved the Pratham session. You will join this Pratham guest group and will recommend people in your network to learn with the construction industry, because that's what we want to make the industry a better place to work with all of you. So now I am making the breakout rooms. You all will find the option to join these rooms. Please join the respective rooms. It will be open for 10 more minutes. Thank you, Raji, for your appreciation, for your words, kind words. Yes, please join the breakout room, and from there you can exit the meeting as well, because after that we'll officially close. We have officially closed this session as of now. Yes, yes, yes. Please join the breakout rooms and meet the amazing people, learn what they are doing in the industry. Vijendra ji, Ankur ji, Gaurav ji, Raj Mohan ji, Ratan Singh ji, Mukesh ji, please join the breakout rooms. Please join the breakout rooms for the networking session. And from there, you can move on. You can exit the meeting. Please join the breakout rooms. Please join the breakout rooms. Kalpana ji, please move to the breakout room. That is an end of the session. From there, you can meet with the people who are there in your group. Vijendra ji, Raj Mohan ji, Ravikant ji, Hariom ji, you can move to the breakout room. Gaurav Varmani sir, even you can move to the breakout room which is there, and then we will connect a little later. Guys, we are here for till 6:40. We are we can stop the recording as well, I think. Bakshi, can we stop the recording?